President Donald Trump in Calexico, California right now. He was greeted by supporters and protesters there in Southern California. His visit comes just one day after demanding that Mexico crack down on illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and gang activity. The president's trip includes a roundtable briefing with local officials and border control agents and a stop along a newly repaired section of the wrought iron and razor wire border fence. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is enlisting the help of the U.S. military to reinforce the Mexican border as large amounts of migrants continue to cross into our country. Members of the Department of Defense arrived at El Paso border locations yesterday. National Guard members are installing what appeared to be barbed wire near the Paso del Norte bridge in El Paso. Military members are expected to remain at the border for several more days. Joining us for perspective now is NBC News political director and moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, closing the border would, of course, have a huge economic impact around the country, especially, of course, in Texas, which is one reason that Texas lawmakers asked the president not to close the border. Did that have any influence on his decision to give Mexico a warning instead?
I think it did, to be honest with you. It wasn't just John Cornyn. By the way, it was the president's own economic staff. His chief economic advisor gave a PowerPoint presentation to the president in the West Wing to explain to him how even one day of shutting down the border for commerce could have a cascading negative impact on the economy. I think this week was a reminder, frankly, it was a reminder to me that Texas is no longer this solid red state that the Republicans can count on if the president keeps messing with the border, that every time he makes a threat about the border, it doesn't always play well in Texas. And look at the 2018 results. If you want to just look at it geographically, the Republican Party took a beating on the border. They lost a Senate seat in Arizona. Democrats won every contested election of consequence in New Mexico. And of course, we know the story in Texas, the most competitive Senate race we'd seen in a generation. You have to ask yourself, is that coincidental, or are the border politics not playing the same way as it once did for the Republicans in these states? So I do think that the John Cornyns of the world are sitting there going, please don't shut down the border. And the fact that he is delaying this a year, I don't know if that should make John Cornyn feel better. I'm sure he's glad that it didn't happen now, but I'm sure he wishes it were taken off the table completely, at least until he's through with his reelection.
Chuck Todd in Washington, thanks. You can watch Meet the Press Sunday morning at 9 o'clock here on KXAN.